Hey everyone! Today we're making an incredibly juicy, aromatic, and comforting dish, a pork casserole smothered in a thick yogurt sauce and a golden cheese crust. It's a home cooking classic that looks and tastes like a restaurant entree. If you've been looking for a way to level up your weeknight dinners, you're in the right place. Let's get cooking. First things first, let's prep the onions. Slice 2 onions into thin half rings. It might seem like a lot of onion, but trust me, they are going to melt down and become almost like a jam. They provide that essential base of sweetness that balances out the savory pork and the tangy yogurt sauce. It's one of those simple ingredients that does all the heavy lifting in the background. If your eyes are sensitive to onions, make sure your knife is extra sharp. It actually reduces the release of the gases that make you cry. You can use the onions raw, but I highly recommend sautéing them in a splash of vegetable oil until they're soft and translucent. This brings out their natural sweetness and gives the casserole a much richer flavor profile. Be sure to stir occasionally while cooking so the onions don't burn. While the onions are caramelizing, let's move on to the meat. For this recipe, pork neck or pork loin works perfectly. You'll need about 1.7 pounds or 800 grams. Slice the pork into neat, even cutlets. To ensure the texture is melt-in-your-mouth tender, we're going to lightly pound each piece on both sides. Quick tip: to keep the juices from splashing all over your kitchen, cover the meat with plastic wrap before hitting it with the mallet. This keeps things clean and protects the fibers of the meat. By the way, you don't need to go overboard. We just want to tenderize it slightly, not turn it into paper-thin sheets. This prep work is your guarantee that every bite will soak up the sauce and onion juices later on. If you don't have a meat mallet, don't worry. You can actually use the back of a heavy skillet or even a rolling pin to get the same effect. The goal isn't to be aggressive. It's about being precise. We're just prepping this canvas so it can hold on to all that incredible garlic and nutmeg flavor we're about to mix up. And there we go. The meat is now perfectly ready to absorb all those spices and aromas we'll add in a moment. Let's hit each piece with a pinch of salt and black pepper to taste. By seasoning simply with salt and pepper now, we're highlighting the pork's natural juices rather than drowning them out. Now for the heart of our dish, the yogurt sauce. In a deep mixing bowl, add 7 ounces, 200 grams of plain Greek yogurt. Add a couple of tablespoons of milk to thin it out. Now let's add some color and flavor: salt, pepper, thyme. I also strongly suggest a pinch of nutmeg. It pairs beautifully with the pork and the creamy base. And of course, let's press in 2 cloves of garlic for that amazing aroma. To make sure the yogurt doesn't curdle in the oven, stir in a teaspoon of cornstarch. Give it all a good whisk with your spoon. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. It will really help the channel grow. Time to assemble. Grease your baking dish with a little vegetable oil. No need to overdo it. Just a thin layer to prevent sticking is all we need. Our first layer is the meat. Lay the pork pieces down tightly to create a solid foundation. We want a nice snug fit so the pork stays protected under the sauce, keeping it tender and juicy until it hits the plate. Next, spread those beautiful golden sautéed onions on top. Distribute them evenly so every bite of meat is infused with that sweet onion juice. Now pour that aromatic yogurt sauce over everything. This sauce creates a protective blanket where the meat will essentially braise, becoming incredibly tender. And for the grand finale, a generous topping of shredded cheese. About 7 ounces, 200 grams, should do the trick. Cover the dish with foil. This is key for steaming the meat until it's fork tender. Pop it into a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Important tip, don't crank up the heat any higher. We want that delicate sauce to stay creamy and smooth without breaking. After 30 minutes, remove the foil and put it back in for another 10 to 15 minutes. We're looking for that cheese to melt into a gorgeous, bubbly, golden brown crust. Look at that beauty! The smell is absolutely divine. The meat under this sauce comes out so soft, it literally melts in your mouth. Serve it with your favorite side dish or just some fresh veggies. Enjoy! Smash that like button if you enjoyed this recipe, and I'll see you in the next video.